The sun was barely up, painting the Kentucky hills in streaks of gold, when I heard the low growl of a car engine slicing through the quiet of my farm. My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. That sound wasn't just any engine. It was her engine. Karen, the homeowners association president, with her shiny black SUV, cutting across my land like she owned it, her tires chewing up my grass, spitting mud onto my fence posts. Every damn day for months. I'd asked her to stop. Begged. Even. My voice cracking over a phone call she'd hung up on. It's just a shortcut. She'd sneered once. Her manicured nails flicking dismissively. Get over it. But this wasn't just a shortcut. This was my home. My sanctuary. The place where my dad taught me to plant corn. Where I buried my old hound Rusty under the oak tree. Where every creak of the porch swing carried memories of my wife. Gone 3 years now. The air smelled of damp earth and hay. But Karen's SUV left a trail of exhaust that stung my nose and my pride. Today, though, something snapped. I set my mug down, the ceramic clinking hard against the porch rail, and felt my jaw tighten. Enough was enough. I tried playing nice. Posted signs private property. No trespassing, but Karen ignored them. I'd called the homeowners association board, but they were her puppets, nodding along to her every whim. My farm wasn't even part of their gated community, just an old plot bordering their manicured lawns. But that didn't stop her. She'd drive through at dawn, her radio blaring some pop song that rattled my windows. Then again at dusk, her headlights glaring like she was daring me to do something. I'd stand there, fists clenched, watching her taillights disappear, my heart pounding with a rage I hadn't felt since I was a kid getting bullied in school. This morning, though, was different. I wasn't just mad. I was done. I grabbed my work gloves, the leather cracked from years of use, and headed to the barn. The air inside was thick with the scent of motor oil and straw, and my old tractor sat there like a loyal friend, its red paint chipped but sturdy. I climbed up, the seat groaning under my weight, and drove out to the path Karen used me path. My land. The ground was soft from last night's rain, and her tire tracks were deep, mocking me. I parked the tractor right across her route, its bulk blocking the way. Then I waited, my breath fogging in the cool morning air, my pulse a steady drum in my ears. She showed up right on schedule, her SUV roaring around the bend. I saw her through the windshield, sunglasses perched on her nose, phone pressed to her ear, oblivious. The brakes screeched as she spotted the tractor, and I swear I heard her curse even from 50 yards away. She leaned on the horn, a sharp, angry blast that sent a flock of sparrows scattering from the trees. I stepped out from behind the tractor, my boots sinking into the mud, and crossed my arms. Move it, farmer, she yelled, leaning out her window. Her voice was all venom, like I was some hired hand on her estate. I'm late for a board meeting. This is my land. Karen, I said, my voice low but steady, each word heavy with the weight of months of frustration. You don't get to drive through it anymore. Her laugh was sharp, like glass breaking. You think this junk heap's gonna stop me? I'll have it towed by noon. She revved her engine, like she was about to ram the tractor. But I didn't flinch. I just stared, my eyes locking onto hers. And for a second, I saw something flicker in her expression, uncertainty. Maybe. But then she slammed her door shut and peeled out, tires spinning, kicking up dirt as she veered off into the grass to get around me. That's when I met Jake. He wasn't part of the plan. I didn't even know he existed until he stepped out of the trees. A lanky kid in a flannel shirt, maybe 17, with a camera slung around his neck. That lady's been driving through my grandpa's field too, he said, his voice quiet but edged with the same anger I felt. Caught her on video last week, running over his tomato plants. I turned to him, my heart still racing from the standoff. You got proof? I asked. He nodded, patting his camera. High def. Time-stamped. She's been doing it for months. A spark lit in my chest. Hot and bright. Proof. Something Karen couldn't laugh off or bully her way out of. Jake told me his grandpa, Old Man Carter, lived just over the hill. Another farmer whose land the homeowners association treated like their personal highway. Jake had been documenting it all. A quiet kid with a fire in his eyes, recording every trespass, every tire mark. He wasn't just some bystander who was a witness. And maybe the key to ending this. We hatched a plan over coffee in my kitchen. the table creaking under our elbows. Jake showed me his footage, Karen's SUV, clear as day, tearing through Carter's field, flattening crops, her license plate glinting in the sunlight. My hands shook as I watched, not just from anger, but from the possibility of justice. We'd take her to court. Trespassing, property damage, the works. But first, I wanted to make sure she'd never drive through my land again. The next morning, I didn't just block the path with the tractor. I dug a trench. Not deep, just enough to trap a car's tires, hidden under a layer of loose dirt and grass. I worked fast, the shovel biting into the earth, my muscles burning, the air heavy with the scent of wet soil. Jake helped, his skinny arms stronger than they looked. And we finished just as the sky turned pink. Then we waited, hidden behind the barn, the silence broken only by the distant hum of Karen's engine. She came tearing around the bend, same as always, her SUV gleaming like it had just been waxed. The tires hit the trench, and the whole vehicle lurched, sinking into the dirt with a sickening crunch. Her scream was louder than the horn this time, high and furious. As she jumped out, her heels sinking into the mud. "You're gonna pay for this," she shrieked, jabbing a finger at me as I stepped into view. "Pay for what?" I said, calm as I could manage, though my heart was hammering. "You're on my property." Again. Jake stepped forward, camera rolling, catching every word, every wild gesture. Karen's face went pale when she saw him, like she knew this wasn't just about a stuck car anymore. "You can't do this," she spat, but her voice cracked, and I could hear the panic creeping in. "Watch me," I said. I pulled out my phone and called the sheriff, my voice steady as I reported a trespasser. Karen's eyes widened, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. For the first time, she looked small, her confidence crumbling like dry dirt underfoot. The sheriff arrived within the hour, a grizzled man named Tom who'd known my dad. He took one look at the SUV, stuck axle deep, and shook his head. "Karen, you've been warned about this," he said, his voice heavy with exasperation. "This ain't your road." She tried to argue, her words tumbling over each other. But Tom wasn't having it. He wrote her up for trespassing, and Jake handed over his footage, every frame a nail in her coffin. The Homeowners Association board couldn't ignore this, not with video evidence and a sheriff's report. By the end of the week, Karen was facing fines, a lawsuit from me and Carter, and a public shaming at the next Homeowners Association meeting. Her car? Towed at her expense, the tow truck's engine rumbling as it dragged her precious SUV out of my trench. I stood on my porch that evening, the air cool and clean, no trace of exhaust. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across my fields, and I let out a long, slow breath. Jake was there, leaning against the rail, his camera resting on the wood. "Feels good, don't it?" he said, a grin tugging at his lips. "Yeah," I said, my voice soft, the weight of months lifting off my chest. "Feels like justice." The fight wasn't over. Court dates loomed, and Karen would probably try to claw her way out, but for now, my land was mine again. The grass would grow back, the ruts would fade, and every morning, I'd wake up to the sound of birds, not engines. I'd made sure of it. And somewhere, my dad was probably smiling, his old boots still caked with the dirt of this place, whispering that I'd done right by it.